Well, welcome back to the second hour of this free practice session for the third round of the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship here at Changhua in Taipei on the west coast of the island of Taipei. We've got about another hour session after we had 1 hour session and about a half-hour break for the boys to have a bit of a drink and a bit of a change of, change of setup, really, just fine-tuning the motorcycles with a bit of handlebar movement and stuff. I'm Mark Brax, I'm the series commentator, joined by Barry Russell again in this round as we try and bring you all the action and up-to-date information about what's happening out on track at this great little circuit with a go-kart track and about 400 metres of dirt section. With the session just gone, we've got Lewis Cornish, a man that has been dominant in the 2 rounds so far, leading the way with a 66-second lap, right on the button. And the man that's giving chase at the moment, the 2015 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship, Trikan Tantong, on his Husky as well. And he's only about 0.5 of a second behind him. And Barry, I reckon those times are going to close on down this afternoon as those boys get a bit more confident and learn a few of the idiosyncrasies of the track, particularly the dirt section.
Yeah, I think so. What was noticeable for me in that first session was that Lewis set his fastest lap, the one at the top of at the end of the session, very early on actually, and Trikan, who's only half a second behind, as you said, he set his fast lap right at the end of the session. So it'll be so Trikan's got the momentum now. Let's see. I mean, you can never write off Lewis Cornish, as we know very well, but
well, he even said just in that break he reckons they're going to get into the 1 minute 8s, 1 minute 1 minute 8.5s, 1 minute 6s by tomorrow, which is about half a second off what he's doing at the moment. And that'll bring them all down. And I reckon once they get a bit more experience on this track and learn how to actually take this second jump, talking to on that back section, just you and me were talking to Lewis and a couple of the others, that you hit it the wrong way, you're going up in the air too much and coming down and actually stopping. You got too much hang time in the air instead of getting the drive off the jump, maybe not hitting it quite as fast. To tell a racer that's probably looking for a slap in the head, but I think they understood. Oh, I've just had a rider down there as well looking from our vantage point. I think that is one of our, is that a Japanese man or one of our Taiwanese riders that's pushed a little bit too hard going into that turn number 5.
It's the first man down that I've seen so far this round.
Well, there have been a couple of crashes. We're talking, one of them was our Singaporean Hazroy Osman, who went down. He went down coming off the jump. The wind got hold of him, he said, because his wind is really having an effect on them as they're getting a bit of airtime as well. It's on screen at the moment. We're seeing that looks like Trikan actually out there on bike number 5, is it?
Yeah, let's I think so, yeah.
Or is that Kyrie?
Oh, it's Kyrie Zacharias. So let's see how he coaches.
That's a bit better.
Yeah, you can see how he was tipping the bike down into the wind because the wind's blowing straight into his face as he's coming up over that jump. As you said, it's a very steep takeoff. That so if you do hit it too hard, you're just going to fly up in the air and lose time and distance.
Yeah, I think they'll learn that. They've come back and had a bit of a think about it. And great sportsmanship when they're in the paddock there afterwards, and it is a paddock, that Lewis Cornish went round and said, good luck guys, all the best, and go out there and have a bit of fun. So very good camaraderie, and I suppose it's got to be with this travelling circus that we've got, that we're going around, staying in the same hotel, probably eating in virtually the same restaurants every night. So, yeah, it's good to see that everybody's getting on so well together. But once they get out there on track, it's every man for himself.
Yeah, definitely so. Of course, for virtually all these riders, every track they're coming to is new. This one, there's a few riders familiar with it. There's the local, there's the 2 local riders.
And also Naoto Takayama comes down as a bit of a play down here.
Yeah, so I believe so. He's competing in the Taiwanese Supermoto Championship as well. But the general thing is for this travelling circus, as you call it, is that most of the riders are going to tracks for the first time, and the nature of Supermoto is such that that very often you won't even have the same circuits from one year to the next.
I reckon that'll change in the future, though. I think there'll be a few well, particularly at Solo Baru, that where they want to, well, after that event we had a few weeks ago. It's only about a month ago, really. It seems like a long time ago. But they're very keen to get the FIM Asia Supermoto Championship back there as well. And there's a few other places putting their hand up as well to be a part of this ever-growing championship.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that was a city centre Supermoto show, and it absolutely set the city alight through the weekend. 2 or 3 days of the event, I suppose 3 in total. Very busy for the second 2. We estimated 35,000 spectators came through there. On top of hundreds of thousands of viewers who watched the live streaming.
And on bike number 32 on screen at the moment, we've still got Kyrie Zakaria there.
Yeah,
the Malaysian. Well, he's basically flying the flag for Malaysia this week, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is indeed in the absence of Gabbett, and he's at the top of the timing sheets in this session yet so far. But Lewis Cornish not on track yet. But Harry Zakaria, he's done 1:10 something on about his second or third flying lap. But he was looking very fast and smooth in that opening session.
And that's what it's all about, being as smooth as possible and getting all those laps together, all the corners linked up.
Yeah, because when we saw Trakan late in the session put in that very quick time, he actually looked slower than he had for most of the session, but he was just being smooth. Because, he got the hang of that tricky jump with the steep takeoff, and he put in a lap that got within half a second of Lewis Cornish, the championship leader and the dominant rider so far in the 2017 championship. So riding with Zakaria now, he was definitely happy with that first session, and smiling all over his face as he ran to the bike for this session.
And backing it in there to, well, that first re-entry section onto the bitumen. No, pardon me, he was back onto the pit straight again. Yeah, very similar corners.
Yeah, the surface we've got here seems quite abrasive. I know a couple of the riders have shredded a set of tyres in the first hour.
And they're riding very hard. So at the moment, in this session, a 108.481, so he's really nailed it this already. Lewis Cornish said he was going to go out and maybe do that tomorrow. He's done it now. He's already taken about 0.6 of a second off his time from the first session.
Got another man down there, and
that is Lewis.
So he pushed it and he found the limit. That won't worry him too much.
Zakaria there in second spot, and then in third spot it's bike number 7, Pedro Werner at the moment, a 1:14.679. Which is slower than he, so I wouldn't really be taking too much notice of anything behind the top 2 at the moment.
Not at the moment, no. There's no time recorded yet for Trakan Tang Tong, the Thai rider who was second fastest in the 1 hour session.
And it'll be interesting to see how much time these guys take up at this final hour practice session this afternoon. Because there's only so much you can do before you think, well, may as well pack up and just get ready for tomorrow. And we have the 30-minute qualifying session and also the 20-minute Supermoto Super Chrono for the top 6 riders to discuss, I suppose is a good way of putting it, their positions on the grid. So Cornish, well, it was a very small whoopsie there just coming off the dirt section where he's been trying a few different antics there. I was just wondering, his bark buster was flapping in the breeze. I thought he was actually hitting his clutch lever down, but he'll be coming into the pits to get Justin, his mechanic, to get to work again.
It's going to be annoying him, so in he comes.
Is he? Yeah, he's backing it off.
Cruising around.
No, he's going for another lap. Oh no, I'm still getting ahead of myself as I'm getting used to this track as well.
Yeah.
Trying to get some dust off his tyres.
So yeah, I think we'll see him come into the pits now as he comes off this right-hander.
No.
Or not? No. Yes, he is.
Yes, he's into the corner. Backs it in there, taking a very wide line. tightens it up a bit to go through turn 2 and get a good line into turn 3. And you'll notice he'll come out of turn 3 and then to turn 4. He runs across the ripple strip. Turn 5 very tight. We've seen one of the riders crash there. Now onto the dirt section using a bit of a berm to get some drive over the first jump over a double. And then another couple of whoopties there that double up as a double as well before they come back on to this very technical leap. If you do it too hard, you're going to hang in the air too much. This is where Cornish crashed a little while ago.
In the air as well. I reckon it's about 2.5 seconds for the top riders. They're hovering above the track. Let's see what Lewis even after crashing and picking the bike up, he did a 122.
That's not too bad. It just shows you how undaunted these guys are.
Yeah. No, he's cruising now.
Yeah, you're right. You're a couple of laps too early, but I reckon he's going to come in this time.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be affected by that bark buster. I thought it might have been hitting him in the knuckles, but he's just cruising at the moment, one hand off the bars. Yeah, so he's really set the Zakaria there in a 108.752, so he's right on the pipe as well.
Yeah, so he's less than 0.3 of a second behind Lewis, who's looks like he's got another problem there. Let's see what happens when he comes round to the pit entry. So looking now at number 7, Pedro Wuna, the Indonesian. He's third, but only on a 1:14, so that's not an indicative time.
No, well, he was a bit quicker earlier on by about 1.5 seconds. So maybe he's had a bit of a change the gearing or whatever, and thought that it was better off to come back in.
Yeah, he's just on a cruise at the moment too.
And you can see how much that wind is ripping up the dust. It's not only the roost of the rear tyre that's spitting that dirt out, it's the wind's starting to whip it around in a bit of a frenzy as well.
Yeah, so it is a really stiff breeze. I didn't check the temperature here, but I think it's about 22 or 23 degrees. But in between these first 2 practice sessions, when I was having a look around the paddock in the shade, it was pretty chilly, even for an Englishman.
And who's getting that way? And as we get on to the ever closer to winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's not as if Taiwan's in the tropics, it's further north than Hong Kong and Macau, and getting up towards level with Shanghai, and getting towards Japan as well as bike 101 comes in.
Yeah, that's Takashi Sasaki, or Sasayan as he's better known.
He was going to 123, so he's certainly taken some time off his laps there, as we might get blown away at the moment. It's the way the wind resistance.
Yeah, certainly getting the tarpaulin certainly getting a battering around our heads here. So somebody on the move there. That's Lewis again.
He hasn't bothered about fixing that bark buster up.
No.
Still flapping around like I'm being on a clothesline.
There he comes into the dirt section. Bounced off the side banking there. Nice and smooth over those whoops.
Yeah, turning him into doubles up the berm. And now
let's see how he tackles this one.
Yeah, a bit slower and a bit, so he's getting the distance. He's actually had a bit of a think about that because, as we said, if you hit it too hard, you're going skywards and not going far enough forward to really maintain your momentum. You lose, as you said, about 2.5 seconds in air. You're probably losing about half a second in actual lap time.
Well, that's right. As you saw, he took off as flat. He kept the bike as flat as he could over the jump, so he didn't lose any.
And I think he's about the only man out on track at the moment. A lot of them. 6 of the 11 haven't, or 7 of the 11 haven't come out on track at the moment.
Yeah, there's a bike stopped at the final turn now. I don't know who that is or what his problem seems to be, but they've left the track to the championship leader there. I don't know how sensible that is to do. I wouldn't trust Lewis out on his own there if I was one of his competitors.
Down into a 107.4, so he's taken a second and a half off his time from the first practice session. So he's really thrown down the gauntlet and said, well, this is the time I'm going to do. And he might even surprise himself about how fast he's actually pulled onto this one.
Yeah, that was a higher jump, but the bike was nice and flat then. And yeah, the others really need to watch out, because if they're in the paddock at the moment, which most of them are, the championship leaders out there knocking a second at a time, a second a lap off his times.
And he picks the bike up onto the fat part of the tyre and drives down into the final corner. Backs it in nicely.
Yeah. Leans off the bike. Nice smooth entry into turn one, and he's backed off there. Didn't catch his time there at the end of the first of that lap.
And he'll be pulling into the pits, I'd say.
So he's cruising. So yeah. So the fastest time there for the only man on track and the championship leader, Lewis Cornish. He's done a 107.461. He did a 109. I think that was his fastest lap in the first session. And he's just spuddling along onto the dirt section now. We've got some other bikes out on track now.
And we're getting down to it, like there's not a lot of action hanging out on track at the moment. They've all started, I'm probably thinking, well, what am I going to do? I'll go out there in tomorrow's qualifying and have a bit of a workout on what's going on, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think they did their orientation in the first session, Braxy, and they know where they can bring the times down. Lewis has just done it again. Though he's on a cruise this lap. And off come the goggles.
I think he might be parking it for the afternoon. What do you reckon there, Bash?
I think he probably will. He's got the fastest lap of the day now by more than a second. He knows where the track goes. He knows where to place himself on the dirt. So yeah, he could well be parking it for the afternoon. You see there's 37 minutes left, and we've got now on track number 101. Is that number 101?
I don't know if we'll be doing a 101. After only getting down to the 106s.
Yeah, this is
or 107s as a matter of fact.
Yeah, this is 102. This is Sang Wei Kei, the Hong Kong rider. Taking it nice and easy. There's another bike on track because I just heard it come down the home straight.
Bang, that would have given you a bit of a jar in the spine. That one, that's a perfect example, a graphic example of what we mean about getting the leap off the, that was Sheng Wei Kei, the Chinese rider, or the Hong Kong rider, pardon me.
Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't want to have your tongue between your teeth if you landed that one.
I could even rattle a few loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pardon me.
I think that was the Supermoto equivalent of a belly flop.
It is, isn't it? Or of a case out in a motocross event.
Yeah. Chris, who else have we got here?
These are some of our
number 27. We got
not so fast riders. Bike number 27.
That's the Chinese rider, Sun Tong. Yeah.
He's might even have a few friends dropping over from China to have a look, because I'm sure the Taiwanese people will be having a lot of people turn up for the event.
Yeah, I saw quite a few. They look like VIP type spectators in the paddock just now. But there's quite a few people milling about and having a look, and they all move back towards the VIP suite as the whistle blew for the start of the second free practice session.
Well, there's some good vantage points for these spectators to have a look at this track, and where you can see, well, basically everywhere from the track. There's a little a roof terrace that you can have a look at.
Yep.
So his best time for Sung Tong is a 1:16. So he's certainly got to find something if he's going to threaten to have a podium position in any of the races tomorrow. But Sung Tong's more just out there having a bit of a fun than anything else.
Yeah, he's one of the older riders, and he loves this series. He loves the sport, and it's good to see him coming out at every meeting. One of the stalwarts, we might say. So he's improved a bit. It's 1:15. Little power wheelie there as he came out of that bend. Got somebody cruising around after him. There's nobody really seems though they're on it. Oh, okay. So looking at the screen there, Takan Tan Tong, the Thai rider who's in the championship chase, he's on track now. He's done a 1:10.8. That's probably on his first flying lap.
Yeah,
so
it's a 1.2 seconds slower than what he did an hour ago.
Yeah,
so
I think he's only just come out for this session.
Yeah.
So the riders seem to have plenty of time, maybe more time than they really need. We've got Pedro Wuna. He hasn't improved since the first part of the session. Got him and Takashi Sasaki. They're both in the 1:14s. Come back, we've got some more airtime for Sun Tong, the Hong Kong rider, number 27.
Pedro, yeah, these guys are all just coming out. They've probably made a few
Yeah.
changes, maybe a gearing change just to see what difference it does make.
Sang Wei Kei, who managed to 1:15, number 102. Also, I don't think we've seen Naoto out in this session. No, we haven't. Number 300, who was very fast off the blocks in the first session. He's one of the few riders that actually is familiar with this track. To explain why he got down to the top, or got up to the top of the leaderboard.
Such quick times in
yes,
such a short space of time.
Exactly. Takashi Sasaki, he went very well at the last round in Indonesia, at Solo in Indonesia, Central Java. He's having a gentle introduction to this round. His best time is like a 1:14.8. What did he do in the first session? He did only 4 laps in the first session, so this is his first time out in anger. He suffers a bit with arm pump, does Sasayan, Takashi Sasaki. Whenever he's not on the bike, we see him with a machine trying to decompress his forearms.
Yeah, they would get a bit of arm pump around here too.
Yeah, I asked a couple of the riders whether they were experiencing any problems with brake overheating or boiling fluid, but I think a combination of the air time that the discs are getting on the longer straights and the cooler weather means that there's no problems that with boiling brake fluid as we saw in the first 2 rounds in Thailand and Indonesia.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, the boiling brake fluid, just for the heat, and plus the different nature of the track too. I don't think the fluid was actually getting any time to cool off.
Well, that's right.
As particularly at Solo Baru in the middle of Java there, because they were off the gas, on the brakes, off the gas, on the brakes, and then very short little bursts of power.
Yeah, it was really tricky, that circuit. So Trakan just brought his time down by another second. He's on a 1:09.869 now. And Li Chinpei in Taiwan, he's going to be on about 1:12, I think. Just saw him on the screen just then.
So about halfway through this second practice session for the 3rd round of the FIM Supermoto Championships.
Yeah, riding with one of the local riders, Li Chinpei. Change at the top, yeah. Lin Chinpei. He's 1:12.8. That's his best time of the afternoon.
And I think the sun might be having a bit of effect to it. A couple of points of this track. Look how the shadows are very lengthening, or lengthening a lot, and they're coming through that back section or the front section of the track.
Yeah, you can see the sun there glaring from behind the VIP box.
We've got those iridium visors on to try and dissipate the solar rays a bit better to make it a bit easier to see.
Yeah, that's Roy Osman, another of the series regulars. He went reasonably well in the first session. Osman, he did a 1:12 in the first session. He's only just come out for this session. No change at the top. We've got Naoto Takayama. He's now back up the leaderboard. He's done a 1:10. One of the Japanese rider that competes in the Taiwanese Championship, so he's got a bit of local knowledge advantage that he's put into good use.
And we can see how dramatic. Look at those corn stalks in the background there. They're getting blown around something frantically at the moment.
Yeah.
So that wind has actually picked up in the last half an hour too.
Yeah, I think it has. I was surprised when we went outside after the first practice session just how stiff that wind is. I was calling it a breeze earlier on, but it's now definitely a wind.
Yeah, a gusty wind at that too. It's been throwing them off a bit in the air as well, and actually picking the bike up at various points of the track too.
Yeah, over that difficult jump, it's coming straight into them head on, which is another good reason for keeping the bike nice and flat and the nose down. Those banners blowing like spinnakers there. FIM Asia Supermoto and the Asia Supersports Group. Asia Supersports Group, of course, the series promoter, taking the championship up another level this season with more rounds, more different circuits, and the very high quality HD live streaming that they put together in conjunction with 23 TV. That's really made a difference as well, and it's certainly made our job a lot easier, with the quality of the pictures we've got right in front of us and the timing appearing on the same screen.
Yeah, great job by the lads there that are just up the channel a bit from us, a couple of tables up.
Yeah, these lads doing a great job.
So there doesn't appear to be that many guys out on track at the moment either.
No, Lewis has come in. And if the track is munching up tyres, a lot of them probably haven't brought that many with them, so they'll have that in mind as well, because it's going to be a busy day tomorrow with practice qualifying, Super Chrono for the top 6, and then of course for the 2 motos. So you're going to need plenty of rubber for that lot. So Lynch in pay. Now 5th place on a 1:12.6. So we've got 4 riders under the 1:10 now.
Yeah, and that's starting to they'll close up again tomorrow during the practice or the qualifying session in the Supermoto, and then the racing 2 30-minute sessions plus the 2 laps as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, and the riders that have done under the 1:10s are the 3 main championship contenders, we have to say, as the unfortunate Gabbett is sidelined with some nasty injuries after a Supercross accident.
Well, at least he's on the mend and on the road to repair. He's was given the all clear by his doctors, but his employers and sponsors, KTM Malaysia or KTM Asia, have said, no, mate, have a bit of a rest. You know, you're the defending champion. We don't want you to put you in. Go and get fully fit, and then come back where we really want you is at the 2 rounds, final rounds at Singapore, and a week later at Malaysia on the 10th and 16th of December, respectively.
Yeah, and full credit, I have to say, to KTM Malaysia for taking care of their rider, because you know very well, Braxy, if if you're a rider and you think you're fit enough to get on a bike, or even half fit enough to get on a bike, you're going to jump on it and race and do what you can, especially when you're a championship contender.
And the other guys, the actual sponsors, will encourage you to get. But you feel you're good enough, mate? Get out there and have a go. And no, it's good to see that they're letting get a bit healthier and be fully fit for, like we said, those last 2 rounds in the 10th and 16th.
Yeah, defending the championship is looking like too much of a big ask for Gabbett, unfortunately. You see Naoto Takayama, he's improved his time by about 0.7 of a second. He's on a 109.2. Harry Zakaria, he's on a 108.7. And Zakaria, he's 1.3 seconds behind Lewis Cornish, who's not currently on track. Trakan on 109.8. I haven't seen him on track for a while. And then there's a 3-second gap after this top 4 to Lin Chin Pei, the local rider, Taiwanese rider.
Yeah, so at the moment we've still got Lewis in control there, Zakaria there in second, and like you said, the Japanese guy there in 3rd position.
Yeah,
Naoto
Takayama, yeah.
He's in a really good, strong position, I reckon, and you know, we think that Lewis Cornish is, well, he is dominating the series. He's won 4 from 4 races, but it won't take much at those times for someone to come down and give him a bit of a hurry up. And Takayama has been around this track a number of times, so he knows his way around.
Yeah, he does. You can see how much he enjoys riding here too. Just from that half an hour or so we spent trackside during the very early part of the first session.
And he's slowing that down a little bit now, as
yeah,
probably getting a bit tired too, I'd say.
Yeah, we're looking at number 40, another local rider. That's Li Wei, Supermoto Taiwan rider, championship regular. He's just on a bit of a cruise around at the moment. In fact, it's not even a cruise, is it?
Nah, just motoring and keeping the engine going.
So yeah, sort of car park speed he's going. So I think the top riders are not on the track at the moment. Indonesia's got a sole representative here, of course, in the last round, which was their home round at Solo Baru in Central Java. We had
it's a pity that a few of the other lads didn't make it across.
Yeah, Donny Tata Pradita, he's got another commitment in a national championship there, I believe. The other rider, Hendra, not sure why he's not here, which is a shame. He was consistently a little quicker than Pedro. Pedro down in 7th there. He's on a 114, so he needs to find something to get up with the championship contenders or somewhere close to them. So another rider there, dipping his bike forward over that tricky, steep takeoff on the big jump. It's Naoto Takayama. Yep, he knows his way around. Nice and smooth. So he's riding gleefully, I would say. Naoto Takayama. Sliding around, he really does know this track. You can see it now.
And you can hear the crowd in the background giving him a bit of a hurry up too. He's pretty spectacular when it comes to throwing the bike around, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you can see the joy in his riding, can't you? Almost see him smiling.
Yeah, well, he's
onto the dirt section.
He's not smiling very often, that's for sure. He's always got a big grin on his face.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yep, he enjoys himself. He seems to throw himself headlong into whatever he happens to be doing. Yeah, he's got that jump absolutely nailed. sharp, abrupt takeoff, but then he keeps the bike absolutely flat and just tilted down a bit at the front, so he doesn't lose too much time in the air.
We're going down in the last 20 minutes of this free practice session, and just, well, this doesn't have any effect on the positions tomorrow. Like it says, it is free practice. It's just go out there and get used to the bike, get used to the track, find out where you can get it quicker if you need to make any changes, gearing changes, maybe a changing compound of the tyre.
Yeah, well, they found they found this track to be quite abrasive, quite hard on tyres, and a lot of the teams have brought their own tyres with them, so they'll be looking at their supply and thinking how they're going to stretch them over the course of tomorrow. And they've got practice qualifying Super Chrono for the top 6, and of course the 2 motos, which are 20 minutes plus 2 laps. We've got Trakan Tang Tong on track now, the 2015 champion. He's back, and his best time so far, a 1:01.